For men over 40, looking for fat loss tips on YouTube seems to consist of being told to eat more lettuce, eat more avocado, and do more jogging. Now, I don't know about you, but none of those three things sounds remotely attractive to me. However, there are ways for guys like us to lose some body fat without turning life upside down, just by being smart. So in this video, I'm going to take you through 4 of my best fat loss tips that are actually doable, realistic things for busy guys over 40 to do to lose the belly, lose the chest fat, lose the face fat, and feel $1 million. Hey, Chris here from Over 40 Freaking Awesome, where I help guys over 40 to look and feel freaking awesome. I have 4 realistic, doable tips for you to help you lose some weight. First of all, we need to know your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, and we also need to know the perfect macronutrient split for you and your lifestyle to hit the goals that you want to hit. What that means is we need to look at your age, your gender, your activity levels, and your goals to find out how many calories you burn on the average day. Once we know that, then we know that we need to eat a few hundred calories less than that in order to burn some body fat. But it's not that simple, because then we need to look at, well, we have a big number. We have, say, 2,200 calories to play with each day. What should that consist of? How much protein should I eat? How many carbohydrates should I eat? How many grams of fat should I eat? And therefore, what type of meals should I be eating? And this is where it gets quite tricky. So on the one hand, I don't want you to go down the road of living your life in MyFitnessPal, scanning every morsel of food that ever goes into your mouth. But on the other hand, if you're flying completely blind and you have no clue how many calories you're eating each day and what those calories are made up of, you're going to find it very hard to lose weight, because you're kind of just crossing your fingers and hoping that what you're doing is going to work. So I would recommend you go online, find yourself a BMR calculator and a macros calculator, or click the link in the description below. I've set a chatbot using AI that opens up in Messenger that takes you through a chat. 60 seconds later, it tells you eat this number of calories, and of those calories, X should be protein, Y should be carbs, and Z should be fat. And from there, you can then start planning your meals so you can start losing some weight. Tip number 2, it's not just about the numbers. It's not just about calories, because you may have in the past been eating quite healthily, been eating fewer calories than your body burns each day, and yet nothing seems to be happening. You're not losing any weight. Why is that? It's because after 40 years old, quite often we need a reset, a reboot, the equivalent of turning your computer off and back on again, because your hormones are all over the place, your metabolism is all over the place, and your energy levels are all over the place. And so we need to find ways to reset those things so that you can lose weight when you want to, you can make progress in the gym when you want to, because your hormones are at a decent level, and you have the energy and the motivation each day to actually stick to a plan. So how do we do this type of reset or reboot? Well, it comes down more often than not to alcohol and sleep. Because if you have a couple of drinks a night, it's not that unhealthy, but it is messing with your hormones. That is increasing your estrogen levels as a man. That will increase fat gain across your chest, and it will also push your testosterone levels low. Why is that a bad thing? Well, testosterone levels, if they are low, lead to a slower metabolism. It leads to muscle loss. It leads to low mood and low motivation. We don't want that. We're trying to get our asses in shape. We need to have the energy to do so, and we need to be motivated to stick to a plan. So if I were you, keep alcohol as a weekend thing. Monday to Friday, don't have it, or drink 0 alcohol beers or things like that, like I do. Then at the weekend, you've earned a little bit of wiggle room. You can have a few drinks. So that will fix your estrogen levels and allow your testosterone levels to increase. But then we come to sleep. Why is sleep important? Well, if you don't get enough sleep, that leads to high cortisol levels, stress hormones. Your body's not getting enough time to recover mentally or physically, and that again will mess with your metabolism, so you're not losing body fat even when you're trying fairly hard. It will also push your testosterone levels low again, which, like I said, will lead to muscle loss, low mood, low energy, low libido, and your metabolism not really working properly either. So you can see there's a couple of things here: sleep and alcohol. If we fix those things in our lives, that will just reboot, reset our bodies so that when you start following a sensible, healthy diet, the weight comes off. If you've been exasperated by that not happening in the past, it's because you haven't gone through the steps of doing that type of reset. Get things working properly again, and the fat will come off. With alcohol there, I mentioned wiggle room, and that leads me to tip number 3. It's to allow yourself some wiggle room. Guys like us, sometimes we're a wee bit kind of gung-ho. We think, right, look at me, I've got a belly, I want to get rid of it, I'm going to starve myself, I'm going to eat 1,000 calories a day, I'm going to train 6 days a week, I'm going to do this. You know what's going to happen because it's probably happened before. You can maybe stick with that for 2 or 3 weeks of starving yourself, of exercising lots and lots, and you'll lose a wee bit of weight, but then the wheels come off very quickly. That's just not sustainable. You're going to feel like crap. You're going to hate everyone around you. You're going to feel a bit stabby. That's not a good way to be. You're just trying to lose some weight. But we need to do it in a realistic and a sustainable way. So think about it. If you could tweak things a little bit and lose 1 pound per week for a whole year, in 1 year's time, you could be sitting where you are right now, 50 pounds lighter, by not really doing very much differently than what you're currently doing. We are too old and too wise by this stage, let's face it, to actually keep making the same mistakes. A better approach for you to lose some body fat is have a Monday to Friday approach where you're nailing breakfast, lunch and dinner, not eating too much, hitting that BMR and macro split that I talked about earlier. That then earns you a little bit of wiggle room to live your life. Indulge a wee bit at weekends, have a few drinks, take out restaurant meals. The wheels will not fall off. And in fact, this has been shown in studies to help with diet adherence. You will be more likely to stick to this for long enough to lose all the weight that you want because you don't feel like you're in prison. You're not living like a monk. You're not saying no to everything all the time. You're just saying no to things during the week. And if you think about it, that's just the way you should be living your life in general. And that leads us to our 4th and final tip for how men over 40 can lose some body fat without doing anything too crazy. Think long term. What tends to happen, like I said, is we have a project in mind. It's going to build some muscle in 6 weeks. I'm going to lose my belly in 6 weeks. I'm going to transform my body in 3 months. We have a timeline in mind when we start. We are already thinking, when can I stop doing this? Because I don't really like doing this. And so I want to stop, but I'm going to do something weird and wonderful to reach my goal so I can then go back to normal. There shouldn't be this idea of going on a project to lose all the body fat so then you can go back to living your normal life. You're just going to gain the weight back again, and then lo and behold, you have to go on another project. Let's finish with projects once and for all, shall we? Let's just think long term. You should just be eating normal meals like a normal person, Monday to Friday, with a bit of wiggle room at the weekends, like I said. By reducing portion sizes, you can then lose weight. But then when you've lost the weight that you want, the only thing that should really change is your portions. You shouldn't go back to different meals. You should be finding ways to lose body fat and eat healthily by eating foods that you just enjoy, but just eating less of them. Eat the right stuff most of the time and the wrong stuff just some of the time. When I want to lose body fat, I eat even less of the right stuff. When I want to maintain my weight, I can eat a little bit more of the right stuff. But throughout your life, you're eating mostly the right stuff. And then that lowers your risks of all sorts of weird and wonderful diseases that I'm sure you want to avoid in the coming decades, while also putting you in control of your body shape and your body fat level. I hope those 4 tips have helped you get a better idea of a realistic, sustainable way to lose the body fat that you want in your 40s, 50s and beyond. If you like this type of content and need more of it in your life, please click like and subscribe. Leave a comment. And remember, if you want to calculate your basal metabolic rate and your macro split, there's a link in the description for that AI calculator that will do it for you in just 60 seconds. But I'll talk to you soon. Take care.